Open-minded or closed-minded leadership. There is a question that for the most part, is seldom, or never asked publicly in most leadership circles. This is a question that most of us have probably never considered asking ourselves. Yet this question lies at the heart of leadership and progress, and that question is, are you an open-minded or closed-minded leader? It's a question that demands reflection and honesty from all that are in positions of influence and authority. This isn't just about leadership in the workplace or in politics, it's about how we approach life, how we interact with others, impacting our organizations negatively or positively. An open-minded leader fosters an environment where diverse perspectives are not just tolerated but celebrated. Because it is in this diversity of thought that we find innovation, creativity, and ultimately, success. As a leader, it is essential to recognize that no one person has a monopoly on wisdom. We must be willing to listen to others, and especially, when their opinions differ from our own. It is through this exchange of ideas that we challenge our assumptions, broaden our horizons, and arrive at better practical solutions. It is important to know that being open-minded does not mean being uncertain, lacking in confidence, or relinquishing your authority as a leader. On the contrary, it requires a firm commitment to principles such as fairness, equality, and justice. Open-mindedness means being willing to stand up for what is right, even in the face of opposition or disagreements. In contrast, closed-minded leadership stifles growth and stifles progress. Closed-minded leadership is rooted in fear of change, fear of the unknown, and fear of being wrong. Closed-minded leaders surround themselves with people that will always agree with them, shutting out any differing voices or perspectives that might threaten their fragile egos. But history has shown us repeatedly that closed-mindedness leads to stagnation and decline. It is the open-minded leaders, the ones who embrace current ideas, who challenge the status quo, who are willing to take risks, that create and leave a lasting legacy. But why does it matter? Why does it matter whether we're open-minded or closed-minded leaders? The answer is simple: because our mindset shapes our actions, and our actions shape our leadership, or influence in our organizations. Closed-minded leaders create toxic environments where fear and conformity reign supreme. Closed-minded leaders divide, rather than unite, exclude rather than include, and ultimately, they hold themselves and others back from performing effectively and efficiently. Closed-minded leaders are rigid thinkers, closed off to new ideas, and unwilling to consider alternative perspectives. For the closed-minded leader, it's about being surrounded with people who think and act the same, resisting change at all costs. On the other hand, open-minded leaders inspire and empower. Open-minded leaders foster environments where people feel valued, respected, and heard, creating a reputation of trust and credibility. Open-minded leaders encourage collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Open-minded leaders embrace diversity and inclusion, recognizing that our differences are our greatest strength. Open-minded leaders lead by example. Proving humility and empathy are powerful tools of building trusted relationships with those that they lead. So, how can we become more open-minded leaders? It starts with self-awareness, recognizing our own biases, prejudices, and limitations. It means actively seeking out new experiences, challenging our assumptions, being open to feedback, and putting it all together to become better personally and organizationally. Being an open-minded leader means cultivating a pursuit of understanding others, that begins with a genuine interest with our partners in our organizations. It further means being surrounded by people who think differently. Being an open-minded leader also means a willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue and discussion to gain greater insight and appreciation for another perspective on any given matter. The position of this session unequivocally stands on being an open-minded leader, for the sake of personal and organizational well-being and health. To be an open-minded leader requires courage, the courage to step outside of our comfort zones, the courage to admit when we're wrong, and the courage to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. As we have discussed open or closed-minded leadership, we must acknowledge that the world is complex and ever-changing. As leaders, those in positions of power, influence, or authority, we have a daily choice as we interact with those that we lead. We can either close ourselves off and ignore the question that has been asked in this session, or we can answer the question honestly and truthfully. In so doing, we must consider the possibility and reality of what is missing in my leadership philosophy, or what about me as a leader needs to change. Psychologist Carl Rogers once said, "Life is about being and becoming." Being is a synonym for character, and becoming is a part of the change that occurs as we grow and develop our character. Changing, growing, and developing is a never-ending cycle on the lifelong journey of character reinforcement for the open-minded leader. But ultimately, the choice to be an open-minded or closed-minded leader belongs to the individual, but also it is important to know the following. The destiny of the organization to which you belong, impacted and influenced by your leadership, has a shared future that hangs in the balance, based on what you choose. Former First Lady of the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "I am today a result of the choices I made yesterday." Open-mindedness or closed-mindedness. The choice is yours.